Okay. I'm talking. All righty, kids and kidlets. We are here. That's right. Recording in progress. We are here and we're going to talk to you. It is daytime today. While the chat room is being set up, I'm going to do my intro, folks, as I always do. I'm going to say hello to you guys. Come on in. The water's fine. Here we go. Early 2020, a pandemic hit. A lockdown happened, especially in Los Angeles. We were totally locked down. One man on the East Coast, another on the West Coast. Both in business for years. We've been both in the business for years. Both decided to talk to daytime stars and others from the past, present, and future. Between the two of them, we have hundreds, a library of hundreds of videos for you to check through and audio podcasts to listen to. Both decided to serve the community of daytime and their fans by doing this. The Locker Room and JLJ Media both were born. Help me welcome Alan Locher. And I'm James, I'm here. Hi, Alan.
Hey, James, how are you? Cheers to you, my friend.
Yes, cheers. We're having actual drinks.
We're having actual drinks. It's almost, it's almost 5 o'clock on the East Coast, so it's happy hour almost.
Brunch time in LA.
Exactly.
So what are you drinking?
A Moscow Mule, homemade.
Ooh, okay. I'm drinking a white Caribbean, so it's not white, but my longtime fans know what it is.
What is in it?
So it's white, it's diet white cranberry juice, rum, vodka, a little bit of vodka in it, and some grenadine.
Oh, okay.
Really delicious.
It looks good.
And the chat people. Candace Mack is here. Shanika Freeman,
hey,
Lisa Rodrigo. Candace, you said that happy anniversary. Lisa, it's your anniversary for your company, for your PR company, or what's going on? Why is it Lisa's anniversary? Tell me. But we're here. Lisa Rodrigo for all my promotions.
Oh yeah, I saw her post on LinkedIn. Happy anniversary, Lisa.
Happy anniversary, Lisa. I didn't see it, girl. I don't know what I was doing this morning.
I just was on LinkedIn in my office a minute ago and saw her post. So happy anniversary. I didn't get to type, but yeah.
Janaea, Kenny Clark. Sorry, Kenny Clark. Try to get your name. Yes, they're thanking us for what we do for daytime. So that's the point. We're going to talk. See, we both do these shows all the time. He's cut back a little bit because he's doing other stuff, but I'm still out there doing it, of course. And we're going to talk about our time doing this for the last almost 3 years. And Alan, right now in the chat room, they're saying all these wonderful things about us in the chat room, and they enjoy our content.
Thanks, everybody.
We work hard, folks. We work very hard. We're going to talk about that too. So I have to say this because in the very beginning, I started, Alan started, and people were telling me, there's this guy out there, I think he's trying to step on your territory. Where is he? They really try to be a little, I like some shade, of course, but they try to be really shady. And then I watched I saw some of his interviews. I'm like, oh, I love it. I'm like, his lane is completely different. There's this whole thing where there's enough room for everyone. I don't look at competition. I mean, fans want to talk soaps all the time. They want to talk it all the time.
100%. I have to tell you, during the Taylor Miller interview this week, somebody commented that I was going to get skewered on one of the blogs because I didn't know that Liberace or something was on Another World, or and have at me. It's just like, like you said, I support everybody. Why do we need to be mean? The country is in such a crazy time. We're doing this for you, the fans. There's no reason to be mean to James, to myself, Michael Fairman, Soap Digest, Soaps in Depth, to anybody who's doing this. We do this because we support this industry.
He said it. I don't get that due comment. He said it completely. And I always, folks, I speak my mind more than most. But it's because I love this industry. And this industry is giving so much back to me. And the friendships, and I know Alan can mirror that, the friendships we've gotten behind the camera, in front of the camera, there are opportunities I would have never have gotten if I hadn't joined this part of the industry. So we're doing it for you. And that literally, I talked about this, but how we started was because we wanted to give people something to look at while we're going through this weird pandemic. Oh, it was back then. Remember back then it was. I mean, in LA, everything shut down. The soaps, everything shut down. We were sitting. I was sitting in this room going, "What am I going to do?" So for you, because I already been hosting, for you to come into this, and you came on my show back in 2020, and I asked you about this, but I want to ask you now this question:
Okay.
has hosting gotten any easier, or is it still just as difficult for you?
Definitely. Easier in the sense that I think I'm just more comfortable in my skin. I'm more comfortable using the platform. I understand what the audience sort of wants. I try to incorporate them in as much as possible. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard because I am enthralled in what my guest is saying. So to distract myself and look to the comments is sometimes hard, but I always want to. And, a lot of fans will write questions when I promote the show, and I'll write those down ahead of time just so I have them. And also because they've sent them in, and I really do love incorporating them in because they really feel a part of it. But sometimes it's really hard because when you're having a conversation, it, James, you want to listen and react to that. And if you're looking at those questions, it does distract you sometimes, and to get, takes you out of it and to get you back into it is sometimes difficult. So it's a balancing act, but I think I feel like I'm navigating those waters better.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people understand we're watching the time. We're trying to make sure the guest is involved. We both have live chats. There's a lot of things that go on to do these shows. You don't just wake up and do them. You can, but if you want a good show, you have to produce it. And
100%.
Yes.
Somebody I know in PR sort of was like, because I make mistakes when I'm hosting because, it is live. It's not perfection because I don't have a professional teleprompter. I have my Word document open. And, somebody sort of said, it would be great if you re-recorded the opening. And to me, the specialness of what you and I do is live and incorporating everybody in. If it was taped and didn't give them the opportunity to be there, one of my favorite parts, and I don't get to see it or engage in it a lot, I love that they're all interacting with each other. How special is that? They all, Candace and the whole group, everybody, they're all interacting with each other throughout the hour. Special.
So I just want to say there are people in the chat room already being shady. I love it. I aren't being shady towards us. I love the shade already. GD and JA and all them. I know who they are. And they come on my chats every once in a while, and I'm like, it's funny. You're still watching us. If you think we're bad, you're watching us. So I always say that's great. And I actually want to take that as a learning thing. I found that when we do these shows, that when we put out product, it is open to interpretation. You just mentioned somebody going, you didn't mention Liberace. Like, it's open to interpretation. And JA and G, you guys don't know me personally. You know him personally. You think you do, but you don't. But it's one of those funny things that people make assumptions or things that we don't ask the right question or say the right thing or the right person on there. So I love that. So I mean, for you, how do you handle negative comments? I mean, it's a thing that we all have to go through. Like, everybody has to go through it.
Yeah, it's funny because being a publicist, I have not had to because I was not on that side. I had to help others navigate that. Sometimes it's been difficult. I want to listen. I mean, what definitely bothers me is if somebody says I haven't done research. I have done research. Granted, I am doing this like you solo. Yeah. So having, hours to do that, when I started this, I was doing it solo and looking for a job. Now I'm doing 2 shows a week and I am working full time. So for anyone who wants to know, I'm up usually, and this is no joke, and I'm not asking for sympathy. This is my life. I chose it. I am up around between 4:30 and 5. I work out, done by 6:15 and showered. And I am usually doing locker room stuff from that point till 8:30, and making breakfast, but till 8:30, and then I work a whole day. So, the negative thing, I try to listen to what people say, but, sometimes, and I've known this being in the daytime community, people are just mean. People are hiding behind their computer, and there's no reason for it. There's just no reason to be
I
mean.
agree. I agree. And now my thing is, like I said, I'll speak the truth about things I feel because I do opinion. I also do opinion stuff because I do the soaps. I say also I'm two things. I am a soap press, but I do opinion shows on soaps. So trust me.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Share, when you're covering them in that way, that is definitely a completely different story.
Yeah.
How do you handle it?
I laugh and I know what my truth is. And like I said, I'm seeing in the chat, some people are being really wonderful. I've been doing it for 7 years. So when it first started, I was like, I went home crying half the time, like, oh my God, they think this, or because like you said, plus some stars have such long resumes. You can't get to everything within an hour. And I think it is almost like soap fans. There are people who there's certain soap couples people like, this because you had many on your show, and I have too. And my thing is, this fan may be fans of these two people, of this coupling. So you're talking about that, but maybe that character just had 3 or 4 couplings that were popular. Maybe you can't get to all of them. Like you can get. I interviewed Crystal Chappelle once. I'm like, I tried to get to Otalia because I knew that was a big deal for our community, of course.
Yeah, you would have been skinned alive if you didn't.
If I didn't. So we know certain things you have. When I talked to Peter Bergman, I got mentioned, the whole Victor Newman. There's certain things you have to mention, right? You have to do it. And so, but there's sometimes you just can't get to every intricate thing. There's some things that people just can't. You can't get to it within an hour or hour and a half. People don't understand. I know some folks go on for 2 or 3 hours. I think people tune out after a while. I think really an hour and a half, probably the longest you probably should do a podcast interview. Even for the person who's being interviewed, it's a lot to talk and just like talk about things and go over your life and think. Especially if it's 1 or 2 people. Sometimes it's a little, that kind of thing. So we can't get to everything. So I always think of it like soaps. You can't always please everyone, but hopefully we give you something to at least look at and enjoy if you're a fan of that show or that artist. But yeah.
And I hope you agree. The majority of what I get is thank you. And I think for both of us, because it was the pandemic, to know that you, in a small way, we helped people through a ridiculous dark time. And all of you watching helped James and I through a ridiculously dark time. For the first 2 weeks of the pandemic, when my last day at work was March 20th, 2020, and I launched this April 3rd, I was watching the news for 8 hours a day.
Ooh, me too.
From March 20th until this show launched. And then once the show launched, I, haven't stopped that ride. But, like you said, the biggest thing, I knew this in, working as a PR person, you can't please everybody.
Yes. And my last subject on this, put a button on it so we can go some other stuff. So those of you in the chat room who say certain things, I will say this out loud. Yes, there are certain soap people, soap press I do not like. I've said that on my shows. You know who they are. But I never said to censor them. I do not believe in censoring people. I don't believe in, again, I said there's enough room for everybody. I support the ones that I support, and the ones I don't support. But either way, I support everyone having their channels and doing whatever they want. That's the thing. It's not my place to tell them not to do it. It's like that's their place. So you can bring that up if you want to and act like I'm trying to be elitist, as you're saying in the chat room, but I'm not elitist at all. And I know who I am, and you can have a good time with that.
Blocked one person, and actually I do remember now which show it was. Chris Bruno. He playing a gay character, so it was a very
yeah.
We spoke about all of sort of homosexuality, and him taking that part. And there was somebody who was, I don't recall what was written, but, you know, taking aim at gay people, at homosexuality. And as someone who is gay, married, and hosts that show that he was commenting during, I decided he needed to be blocked. It was not constructive. It was just outright, you know.
I did it once too for Taraya, for the Cameron Grimes, Kate Fairbanks, Brian R just had their history-making wedding, same-sex wedding for 49 years, and recently I had a couple of really horrific comments, and I blocked. It was two people. I blocked them both. I'm like you. It's like, you can do that. You can call me all kind of names, which I don't care, all that kind of stuff. But I think that kind of stuff, like, that's really not good. And we don't need that energy in here at all.
And it's not necessarily just me. There are gay people watching my show. So like, there's no need for anybody to have to read that and see.
I agree.
That kind of, yes. So.
But yeah, haters. I made a song about haters called My Opinion is the Only Opinion. You can check it out on Spotify. Have a good time there. Okay. So that was my, so you guys have a good, you're sitting here watching us. So I didn't ask you to come here. So you didn't have to come if you didn't want to. Okay. Doing these, has your love of the genre strengthened? Or is it about the same?
You know, I don't watch. I'm admitting it. I don't. I will watch when fans tell me, people I know. Laura,
you don't watch any soaps today. You don't watch any of the current 4 soaps.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. You know, but they weren't. I wasn't a soap reporter. I was a fan of As the World Turns and Guiding Light. You know, so, so for me, you know, but it, you know, I am married. My husband loves TV, so we watch a lot of TV. Like there would be, you know, I don't have time for much in my life, you know, outside of doing the show and working, you know, so to find that time. But I will check out. I see things. I pay attention to what's happening on social media with the shows and stuff like that. But on a regular basis, I don't. I do, you know, doing the show just, I mean, I always knew, I mean, I was devoted since I was, you know, 13-ish or younger. But to see, you know, the love, even more importantly for the shows that are no longer on the air, has been astonishing. And I continually am amazed at their memories.
Isn't that crazy? So because you started out doing the soap reunions before other folks started doing it. It's documented, folks. Because you did, because you were, and I think because you had that inside, because you worked as publicist for GL and ATW, TWT, that you had the inside notes, but you're the one who started doing these like interesting, like, let's get that person together, let's get that and there. So I mean, was that always your intention? Was like, I'm going to start out with the reunions of the older past people?
No, you know, I just started making phone calls.
Oh, okay.
When the pandemic hit, it wasn't thinking older, you know. Definitely, you think of my first show was World Turns. Like Michael Park was my first phone call, and then Maura and Martha, and then Kelly and Don Hastings, and then Kim and Robert and Jerry and Liz and Maureen. And more so because I knew fans would be over the moon to see them. It wasn't an age veteran, you know, it just, and people who returned my phone calls right away, you know, like it just started that way, you know.
We need an old school CBS soap channel. Yeah,
and that's the saddest part. People really desperately want that.
Well, I found out because I do the Falcon Crest Dallas Not Standing after shows, and I'm finding, because now Falcon Crest was just released on IMDb TV, which is also part of Amazon. Wow. So Dallas and Falcon Crest are both released, but Not Slang and Dynasty aren't.
Not Slang Donna Mills basically told me it's like nowhere. But there was something I watched recently. I hope a fan was watching the same show. It was shown on the TV. Like, like if you were watching As the World Turns and they were watching TV, it was Knots Landing, a show I just can't remember what. But yeah, they had yeah, somebody, if you were watching the same series, please remind me.
Yeah, please. So, yes, but I found that people really do. I say it all the time. I miss Santa Barbara to you guys. I miss Santa Barbara. I wish I could start a soap net. If I had the money and the resources to buy everything up from everybody, I would start a soap net. I would love to, of some sort, and have and I would do the soap blocks like they were in the original day. I would do the whole thing every day of your soaps. I mean, I would love that, and that's one of my dreams. And maybe one day I'll make it happen. Who knows? Life is crazy. You never know. But I would love.
Never say never. I just don't know that the people who own them are interested.
I know.
But that's sad and short-sighted.
I agree.
I mean, look at our audience. Look at our audience.
So I know. Thousands of people. It killed me when I get hundreds and thousands of downloads of these shows talking about Dallas. Dallas has been off the air for 1,000 years. Falcon Crest shot me. I do a show on the Colbys, the spinoff. And I
loved the Colbys.
Right, and it's huge. And there's groups on Facebook where people are talking about this stuff, whether we're doing it or not. They're talking about it. That's what just blows my mind. I gotta read this comment. This is a good one. From Mel, New York, and Mel's one of my people who watch some of my stuff. Hey, I love Alan. His channel is like a warm blanket. I watch his interviews and go look up classic scenes. Oh, you just got rid of it. Well, he was saying, and I think that's what your channel really does. Because I do a lot of the current people, but your stuff, it literally is. Oh, there it goes. Look up classic scenes from As the World Turns and Guiding Light. Alan is the best ever. Oh, Alan is also cute and friendly. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Alan. Okay.
Thanks, Mel. You know what's interesting? How many, what I find in doing all of the other shows as well, like, the other soaps that I never watched, there are so many people who will comment that I only have found this show because of YouTube. And that to me is freaking fascinating. They are, like you just said, they're not on the air anymore, but people are watching Guiding Light, As the World Turns, All My Children, One Life to in bits and looking 1980, and there may be 10 shows, and they'll watch from around the world even.
Yes.
That is incredible to me. Incredible.
We're going to talk about this a little later. I'm going to bring up a little later in the show, but the Lisa Brown tree made me cry. We're going to talk about that stuff too. That'll be towards later in the show. We'll talk about that. We're going to get to that also. But I want to talk about this sort of kind of fun stuff first, and we'll kind of get to that area.
Okay.
Yes. Kate Callan's interview. Yes. The guy who played Timmy. The guy who plays Timmy is hot. Oh, he is. I'm like, wow. I was like, who's he? Where is he at? And what is he doing? And I was like, he was very cute.
That was Mr. Bruno.
Woo. I was like, okay, kids. I was like, wow, they aged really well. Hi, George Blackman, two of my favorite hosts on one screen. Yes, we are. We're friends. We are friends. Everybody get ourselves, we're friends. We are. For me, doing these re-strengthened my love of the soaps. It's like, okay, now I'm doing it on my terms. Everybody knows I was at AfterBuzz TV. And that's where I started. Oh, thank you, Mel. Yes, I'm becoming a grandfather for a fifth time. I just found out. So,
that's awesome. Do you watch all four right now?
I do, but I only do three. I only cover three because my friends at Dish and Days, Tony Moore and them, they do Dish and Days, and we support each other channels. But I do the Wine on Me Spotlight, Bone Beautiful Me Spotlight, and GHB Spotlight, and I work with those PR people. I work with Matt Cain and Eva Basler and all that. I work with all of them. That's how we get the guests. And yeah, I do the three. So I talk about all four, but I do the three. Yes, every week, every Sunday.
I love the publicists on all four shows now.
They're all the good. Now. He said now.
The previous one at GH, I had no contact with. She wouldn't really acknowledge.
No, same here. But the one before her, I was with Barbara Roy. We were very close. That last one, they come down, they have a new person, and then Eva and Matt at Wine on Me. I've been working with them for years.
Matt's a Jersey boy like me.
He is. He is. I know. We live near. We don't live far from each other. I'm still waiting for my on-camera role, Matt Kane and Casey Kasperzik. You said you were going to do it on my show. Maybe
I mean,
you don't want my walk on.
How lucky are they to have Robert Newman?
Oh my. Okay, so we can talk about this for a second, folks. This is our show. Do what we want. Okay, I'll hi from Montreal. I love Montreal. I've been there. I've been watching both your channels since 2020. It's Donna Lynn. Oh, Donna Lynn. Thank you.
Hi, Donna Lynn.
No, I told people, I go, folks, I do the Y in our show. I go, like, really? Because Richard Burgi is great. He was wonderful. He's a great actor. Love him. I said,
great actor.
Right. I go, but you guys don't understand. Robert Newman is a silent assassin. Like, wait till he gets in here. And I said on my show, I'm time tempered on my show. He is going to blow your minds. And I'm like, yeah. And now everybody's like, wow. Like, they couldn't believe it. He put in some work that I think for next year's Emmys, he needs to submit. That's how.
Did you love the promo they did before he got?
Yeah. See, I don't mind a wink. Some folks don't like winks. I don't mind a little wink.
That was a great. I mean, they would have been dumb not to do that.
Right. They had to. But folks, calm down. I don't think I love me some Kim Zimmer, but I don't think we need to have her on right now. I think right now he's doing just fine in this new role. And I think, but he really, I mean, I know you don't watch. Well, have you watched some of his work?
Yeah, I did. I watched his first week.
Okay, sure. But no, I gotta tell you something though. You need to go back and watch when he gets taken down by the Newmans. And he just is incredible. Just like, what?
Well, just to even in your brain to think of Eric Braeden and Robert Newman.
Oh, no, and Eric's my friend, so I know Eric. And I was thinking, God, I mean, you're up against Millie Thomas Scott and Eric Braeden and Amelia Hyde. These are pros. Joshua Morrow. I'm sitting there going, this is. And Eric Braeden's the ball. Let me start. Eric Braeden's my favorite. He's a cool dude, and I'm gonna know him off camera. And but he's such a good actor. He's so intimidating on the show. You're like, yeah. I'm telling you, I told you guys, and everybody's on my side now. Everybody's like, oh yeah, no, I agree. Jen Walton said, love you both, love your shows. Thank you. Let's see, what else? Only one question. Robert Newman as Josh started as a villain as Josh on GH. You're going way back, folks. Mm-hmm. Leopard says, hi, Alan. Your show about daytime soaps was the first one I watched on YouTube when COVID hit. I do. And shows like Bold and the Beautiful are now opened up their own YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know.
Totally started showing that's so smart. It's so smart. So smart. Okay.
I wonder where they got the idea.
Let me sip on that one. Yes, you know how shady I am. Let's do that.
I mean, I had people when they did the All My Children on Entertainment Weekly were like, yes. I think they stole your idea.
No, that's everybody was. We were all saying that. So as I said, you did it. It's documented. You did it first. Flattery and whatever. That's great and all that story. But you did it first. I was like, that's the whole thing. So I think they started seeing, because the People Magazine started doing some too. It was like, oh, so now you're seeing people want content, number one. The soaps were not new. Remember, Only Days of Our Lives was the only one that had new content. People wanted to see. So all my interviews were just like out the park because they had nothing else to. You were covering the older folks. I was covering the new people. It was like we had it covered. Then others tried to come in.
It was funny because my initial was Instagram Live. That was my idea. Oh. And Instagram Live only allowed this one-on-one at the time.
And only an hour. I think it was like, first I think it was only going to an hour, I think.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know what it was. I never did it back then. And Michael Park suggested streaming. And initially, I just started reaching out to World Turns and Guiding Light. And then fans are the ones who started begging me, would you do Susan Lucci? Would you do this? And when Susan said yes, that's when I felt comfortable going to the rest.
And same for me too. I just call my friends. I almost said Rolodex. I'm aging myself.
There's people watching, James, who won't know what that is.
They won't know what it is. So I went to my Rolodex and I started calling my friends. I go, okay, can you come on? Sure. Can you come on? Sure. I mean, like it's just so fun. Yeah, it was an hour back to IG Live. Remember, I used to do my IG Live. It was only an hour. Now I can do longer, but yeah, I was like, I called my friends up and said, I know you're doing shit, so let's come on. Like, oh, come on the show, sure. I called Wally Kurt up, and I was like, this art's like coming on. So, it was great.
Who was your first show?
Oh my God, my first, I started with I was doing 5 shows a day. I believe my first show was, oh my God, that's a good question. Because I sat there, I said, okay, who am I gonna do first? I want to say it was Millie Thomas Scott and Sharon Case.
Just nobody.
I know the way I just said that. Oh,
I mean, that's like,
yes,
royalty.
I know.
And then as the world turns alumni,
Sharon Case. Yeah,
I would love to do Sharon for
Sharon,
that to incorporate that. World turns.
Yeah. She was on World Turn. She was on General Hospital for a minute. So she's been around for a while. And I will tell you, I love Millie Thomas Scott. She's a broad, and she would love me saying that she has a broad off camera. We had the funniest show, which I can't tell you guys on here. It's a family show that I couldn't stop laughing. I said Millie Thomas Scott, and she couldn't stop laughing. But they were wonderful. I think they were my first, and my buddy Sean Kanan was my buddy. So I think they were my first.
Sean was cool. I liked him. I liked Sean. I mean, I knew of him, but he's a great. Here's the thing. I started doing daytime. I started because it's my show,
right?
And I started doing things that mattered to me and other topics. But what I really have come away with is, and I would think you see it as well. Every conversation we have, this conversation, any conversation you have with whatever guest, celebrity or non-celebrity, author, socially conscious conversation, we all can learn from each other if you just listen.
And the gold is in the conversation. When I interviewed Gloria Loring, that's what it is. No, it is because you said it. We all have questions and points we want to get to, but the gold is in the conversation. And Gloria Loring said something about Alan Thicke, which was her ex-husband, of course, and all that stuff. And then we were talking about Robin Thicke, which was like, I wasn't even planning on going that direction, kind of. I was going to hit on it here and there, but it tied into what we were talking about, actually. And she gave a good behind-the-scenes story. And so it is about listening. And I have it on camera. Eric Brainstyle is one of the best interviews since Larry King, because I listened. He said it on camera. Because James, you're one of the best interviewers since Larry King. You listen. That's why you're good. I was like, almost cried on camera. Like, oh my God, Eric Brainstyle.
Oh, that's awesome. I have become a better listener because of this. We all need to be better listeners, because that is where the gold you're talking about comes from. Because if you're not listening, you miss that gold. I mean, those are the things that I really, it's interesting. I mean, you can't not, either one of us can't not learn in this process.
Oh no, yeah. One of my biggest
dream interview.
What?
Do you have a dream interview?
Well, you know who my dream interview is? It's Maura West. There was a campaign for a while on Twitter to get her on my show. Both Tauruses. I've been a fan since Carly. I just think she's amazing. Her children are theater. They're like her and Annie have been together for years. That literally is, because I've had Kristen Alfonso. That was my dream interview. So I did that already.
Scott.
What? Oh, Scott. Sorry, Scott. Yeah, but see, I'm a fan.
I love Andy. I loved Andy. Loved.
Yeah, me too. So I'm a huge fan of John Dixon. I mean, we get to a rabbit hole. But no, she literally, Maura West would be my dream. I would love. I make my else's dreams come true. I always say my friends wanted Chris Chappelle. I got that for. I mean, I've interviewed them already, so I'm like, that's in terms of daytime, I just think she's one of the best in the biz, just hands down. Just hands down. She comes in and she has chemistry with every single person she ever works with. That is, it doesn't happen all the time. She's lightning in a bottle. Like, people will say this is lightning in a bottle. To me, Maura West is lightning in a bottle.
But look at those two blondes, Maura and Cynthia, and Laura is phenomenal.
Yes.
But Maura and Cynthia went to the
Yes.
same school.
Isn't that crazy? I know. I watched all your stuff. I'm like, I know. Yes, I know.
No, but I've known that for years. But that's, that talent of those two women who
Yes.
came from that school should be paying them for advertising.
Yes. I'm like, yes. I mean, and Cynthia, don't get me started. I love me some Cynthia. Get me started on that. But I think she's like my dream in terms of daytime. Because I had a chance to interview Peter Bergman this year. That was a dream of mine. And he was everything I needed him to be. He was everything. I've interviewed Doug and Susan Seaforth Hayes. I wanted to interview them. You know what I wanted to ask them? I wanted to ask them about the scene and Close Encounters of the Third Kind when they showed Days of Our Lives. It was Doug and Julie, and they loved that I brought that up. Oh my God, I love that. I'm very specific in what I want to ask certain people, so because I know the genre. So I got a chance to ask them about that, which was just a great thing. Michelle Stower is my friend. So she was one of my dreams in the beginning, but now she's my friend. So we talk all the time on there.
She's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It could blow your mind, the talent in daytime. It really.
Yes. No, who's your? I mean, I know you got your angels, you guys. So who is your? Because my angel would have been Farrah Fawcett, because if she was alive, I would have loved to interview her, of course.
I worked with her, right? Do you know that?
I didn't know you worked with her. I loved her back in the
day. I worked at Disney in 1995 as a publicist when she did a movie called Man of the House with Chevy Chase.
Yes.
And to have my boss say, Alan, you need to go to JFK and pick Farrah Fawcett up.
Oh my God.
Can you talk about like, poo?
Yes, exactly.
And she was beyond anything I could have imagined. Really a sweetheart. Like, I even gave me her number. I wish I had stayed in touch. She was here for a press tour, so I had to accompany her and take her on press. And one of them was in New Jersey, and I lived in New Jersey still at that time when she was here. And it was not far from where I lived. And my best friend, who was my roommate at the time, had to come get me. She got out of the car, hugged him. She's like, I'm coming over for drinks. I mean, she didn't, but he's like, no, our apartment's a mess. Like it for a kid who literally was 10 when Angels came on, meeting her, having Jacqueline on the show, and Cheryl, that's what breaks my heart, that my parents aren't alive, because I drove them insane about Charlie's Angels.
Well, see, that for me, it would be Chris Alfonso. When I was able to finally, we had played tag over the years, and then when it was Day of Days, I'll never forget. And again, all my friends, I was part of her fan club in the 80s. Like, I watched Angel Lives because she came on. So I've been watching, at this point, it was 38 years I had watched her. I watched her on Melrose Place. I watched her on Falcon Crest. I mean, I was a huge, so it was almost like I saw her walk. It's always a story. I saw how she kind of floated up the stairs to the green room. She didn't walk; she was floating to me, and my heart started pounding. My coach Tammy goes, "James, take a deep breath." I had to turn around, collect myself, and then later, when it was my turn to interview her, they bring her in, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows. And they're all standing there, except for the publicist. She knows what was going on. She asked Tony, "What's going on here?" But everybody had their cameras out. And she walks out, she says, "James, finally." And I fell into her arms. And I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I had to pull together for the interview, and I did. But it was like 38 years.
Is that your number one show?
Yes.
Like, from what age?
So I watched her hospital soon before that. That's when I watched that since I was 14. And I was able to be a host on the after show for it. That was my first entree into hosting. Was actually the Days of Our Lives after show at AfterBuzz TV. And so then I got to meet all the stars and become friends. So my dreams came true. I said, so you said that, like, my dream of the person I wanted to meet the most. Now she knows who I am. We text back and forth every once in a while. I guess I know she is. It was like, there's very few folks that I looked at. So, and Jeannie Francis was the other one. I got to interview her too. But Jeannie Francis, to me, I watched her from Luke and Laura wedding. I remember everything. It was like, and Linda Gray. When I got to meet Linda Gray, I was a huge Dallas fan, and Linda Gray could have not been more gracious. And she held my hand, and she was wonderful. She called me honey, and she's so tall and statuesque, and she's beautiful. Those like the three that I was like. So anybody out there, if I can get Lindsay Wagner.
Me too. That's who I've been trying.
Me too. I want Lindsay Wagner.
And Linda Carter, I want.
And Linda Carter, of course.
So,
of course.
I'll tell you my three: Lindsay, Linda, Olivia.
Oh my God, ONJ. I would love to have Olivia.
You talk about dreams. My dream came true working on the show. And I said if my parents could see the Charlie's Angels thing, really, if my parents could just see any of this.
Yeah. Well, I think they did see it. I think they did see it, just from where they are.
I'd like to believe that as well.
I'd like to believe that. Everybody in the chat room wants us, I'm sorry, before I just say, they want us to interview Robin Christopher, which I would love.
I'm trying.
Oh, he's trying. So go to him. He's trying.
Wait, there was someone else I was going to say I'm trying. Totally blanked.
Sorry. Everybody's mentioning it for us. I'm like, so he's trying. Robin Christopher, Matt Crane. Yes, they're on there, but I was another role fan too. So.
People ask, all the time. They've given me great ideas. But who would be my dream, sadly can't come true, would be Beverly McKinsey.
Oh. Talk about a powerhouse, actress. Because I know, I've interviewed and I know Vincent Irizarry. So I get to ask him all about her. I get to ask him about her and all that. So, and just, it's apparently she's everything you could have wanted in a star. It's like they don't make them like they used to. That's like an old person now, but they don't make them star. A Brenda Dixon, Jeannie Cooper. They don't make them like they used to. They just don't. Those are the grand dames of just like, they held weight and they came on set and did their jobs, folks. They did their jobs.
Who I adored was Kate Linder, interviewing her. She really.
Oh, I know her too. I love Kate Linder.
I didn't know her. She was really a special.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, okay, yes.
I knew her, and I watched. I watched some YNR, but wow, what a special lady. What do you? Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. I was going to say she's wonderful. I was going to say she's wonderful. We're two hosts. We're two producers. Sorry. Go ahead.
What do you find the hardest part of doing what we do?
Booking. Trying to find the dates. Trying to get people. Especially when you have more than if you do a panel. I love doing panel shows. I do. I'm very good at it. You're very good. I love doing panel shows. It's a whole other brain. You have to use the hosts to make sure everybody's not sitting there too long. It's a lot of work. But I love it. I actually do love it.
That's when the pit's wet.
Exactly. And if you do it correctly, it works out great, right? But trying to just, when can you do it? Can you do it next Tuesday at 5? And you're trying to do your own schedule plus their schedule. That part to me literally is the hardest. Once it's set, the interview pretty much runs itself. Once I do my research and everything, the interview runs itself. But it's more of that. And possibly sometime, in the beginning, it was kind of like promotion. But now people they're dialed into us at this point. So it was hard at first. So I tried to grow. But now we kind of got a groove. Yes,
but daytime has an interesting audience. They still aren't 100% sure like how to find things.
That's true. You're right.
My new boss recently had asked me, he was just curious because he likes, I'm very grateful. I have two bosses, a CEO and a president of the company I work for, and they both very much are allowing me to do this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We were at a company dinner and he said, what's the hardest for you? He was asking, and it's really the same as what you said. The hosting is really the simple part.
Yeah. It is. And most of the guests want to come on. They want to come on. They're happy to do it. I was going to ask you, because this happened to me only a couple of times. And
I'm
one
scared.
was really me. Anybody turn you down?
Oh, for sure. I've gone a lot to primetime and movie to some degree. Yeah. Valerie Bertinelli, I would love. Wasn't the right time. Trying to think daytime per se. I'm sure. I mean, I definitely get turned down. There's no doubt, James.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there is, Olivia, I've been talking to her person forever. So we've gone back and forth, like, yeah. So like and that here's what I will also say, because that's what's surprising to me. It is surprising to me the people you never hear from when you reach out, and someone like Olivia, that her team responds immediately. And because this was July of 2020, when I interviewed Martha and Bill Fichtner, and the minute I reached out to Bill, not even a day went by, his team responded immediately, we will get you an answer. And I think I had that answer in the same day. And to me, that's just respect for people doing what we do. Like it just surprises me when you hear nothing. And sometimes from daytime people.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny you say that. I had that Martha, that was one of my dream interviews, Martha Byrne. I got to interview her. We're the same age. We're talking about that. And I love Martha. Is just so real. I love her. But for me, it was Daniel McVicker, who played Clark on Bold and Beautiful back in the 80s and 90s. He lives in Italy, raising his son there, has a career there. I reached out to him and asked, actually, Tracy Melkor, who played Kristen, who's a friend of mine now, More Beautiful, said in the thing, they said, James was a great interview. She endorsed me. You should come on the show. And he got right back to me right away. He was like, I'm in Italy. How can we work this out? Like, I'll take care of all that. And we had the best interview. Oh my God, like, it's like, you're right. It's certain people you're like, you get nothing. Crickets. And I'm thinking, you don't got nothing going on. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like,
yeah. Hello. Anybody there? Is this thing on? And the other folks who get back to you, like, seriously, right away. What do you need? Yeah.
Bill Fichtner, Olivia's people, even Valerie's people actually did. That's, to me, I've worked in the industry. I am a publicist. You just, hey, not going to work. One of the two people I really still want to do, and I've talked to them both.
Okay.
Tommy P. And Matty B.
Yes.
Matt Bomer and Tom Pelfrey.
Yeah, of course.
I've talked to both.
Okay.
One of these days, I will make it happen.
It'll happen, all shade. I know. There's some shade happening in here too, because they know how I feel about this person. I interviewed her. I'll ask him, and maybe he has something good to say. Ask Alan if he had any Deidre Hall moments behind the scenes.
I have not.
He has not.
But I have a picture with Deirdre from like 40 years ago, when I was a page at ABC Television.
But that's why I did the first time. Just kidding. Yes. Okay. Just saying. Okay. So he has nothing to say. So therefore,
I have never really had any interaction, but I loved what superhero was she with her sister?
That's your woman, Dinah girl. That was our show. That was our show. I had the Electric Woman. I had a doll. I don't know where it is. I wish I had it still. I don't know where it is.
I had the Bionic Woman doll.
So did I. They got lost in a fire. I was pissed. I was like,
sadly, I don't think I ever had the Kelly Garrett doll, which I can't believe I never did.
I was a huge Bionic Woman fan. I know you started. That's another thing. Yes.
Which one?
What?
Fan? What did you just say?
Well, I was a huge Bionic Woman fan. I was a huge Lindsay
Wagner. Oh, Bionic Woman. Me too. Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. They ask you, have you ever interviewed a total? Have you ever interviewed a total diva? Well, mine was Deidre Hall, but it's right there on. You can see it on camera, which is going to lead me into a question. Actually, I want to ask Alan. So before you even answer that, my question, because I have a couple of interviews where I can't watch them because I'm like, ooh, that's like really good. And mine was a Deidre Hall one. Okay, what show of yours makes you cringe? Do you have any interviews you're like, oh, that didn't go as well as I hoped it would?
Oh God, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, think about it, early on when we started, a lot of I don't know how Zoom was, but like my platform, there were audio issues.
Oh yeah. Getting,
the first show with Marnie Schulenberg was really tough. I think she had trouble getting people to connect. Susan Marie Snyder, I had to have just audio because, she couldn't from Hawaii get through, and you're live and that, but I think that is part of the charm of what we do. Like they see, we're human, they're human, we're trying to make it work. I hated early on when people had real, where, because fans were distracted by the audio issues. I'm glad that all of the platforms, I think, have stepped up and fixed that issue. But that, I'm sure as the host, you feel awful because people are tuning in to hear their favorite person. And when that doesn't go well, how can you not feel responsible because it's your show? And early on, I didn't necessarily sort of suggest people arrive 15 minutes early. So if they didn't know how to do something and they show up at a minute before, then you're like screwed.
It's funny because I did a show with Patricia Darbo, who's my girl.
Oh, I like her.
Oh my, she's a hoot and a holler, and she knows the business. Like she knows the business. I did an interview with her and I didn't record. So I called her up. I called her up and said, "Girl, we got to do it again." And she's like, "James, it's you. I'll do it again. We can talk all day long." And actually, the second interview was much better. But I cut her a couple of times when myself, user error, I didn't press record.
We're human. There's things I might want to do during a show that I forget because the person gets me enthralled or the fans got me, it's hard sometimes. I mean, we don't have 200 people like Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, helping them make it perfect. It's you and me.
That's
and not you and me together. It's you doing it for you, so it's, and that's a fascinating element that I love. I mean, when I've done some charity things, I've had some help here and there. That is a world of difference.
I feel like this makes us stronger as just in terms of almost cross training, so to speak. Like you always say at jobs, you always cross train all the jobs. We know all the jobs. I think at this point, I after Buzz, I had engineers. So I had directors, engineers. I just went to a set. You went which camera to look at first and which one to go next, and doing a cold open. I mean, it was so, not saying it was easy breezy, but like it's easier than this. I gotta make sure I press that button, that button's on, that light's on, that's over here, and I'm watching the time, and I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work. I don't have a clock going, James, you have 5 more minutes. I don't have that going on. It's
right. Cut.
Where am I? What's going on?
Right. Cut.
Right. We don't have none of that. We don't have none of that. Is there an interview? It could be nothing good or bad or whatever. Do you have an interview that was the hardest for you to do?
I don't. Like I kind of wish I knew that in advance. I'd have to look at them. What I really want to make work really well are those tributes. Lisa.
Yes. That's good. Let's go into that now.
Lisa, Beverly, Zaslow, because, like Zaslow and Agnes Nixon's, I had their families. Yes. I had Michael's daughter. I had Agnes's son. But you want to honor them in a really special way, and don't want to F it up in no other terms. So those sort of stress me. I do know. And you look at Lisa's, John Wesley, I was thrilled he got there, but he was a little late, and that, I know fans wanted to hear from him, and they did, and he was phenomenal. But those things stress you out when you're live.
Yes, we are stressed out. Yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt that I'm, realizing, and you want to make sure you have enough questions for the people, and you do it right, and you honor them in a great way.
I agree. I've interviewed Timothy Moore, Roger Moore's son. I
Oh,
did an
wow.
interview with,
Is he in the
yeah,
business?
he is, and he's hilarious. He's effing hilarious. You can tell
What
he
does he
loves
do
his
in the
father.
business?
He did this comedy parody movie about being in the business, and it was hilarious. I forgot the name of it now. I forgot the name of
I'm
it.
going to look him up.
I,
Timothy Moore?
yeah, I think it was Timothy Moore. I think it was Timothy. But it was one of his sons, and it was we had a great time. Also, when I interviewed Corbin Burnson and Amanda Pays, and we talked about Gene Cooper, that was, I wanted to make sure I asked him, can I ask you about her? He said, oh, yeah, oh, my, please. He gave great stories. So, like you, I'm very sensitive when their famous parent or aunt or uncle, they pass. I want to make sure that when they say their families, there's extra pressure. Just want to make sure it's done right. Because for myself, if someone's doing something on they're doing my mother or somebody, I want to make sure they do okay. I want to make sure it's good. But I want to tell you, I've watched your tributes and people are telling them already, they're listing all your stuff. You did a very well job. You did a really good job. And I think it's not an easy thing to talk about somebody who's died, who's passed. It brings up a lot of stuff for people. And I think yours are very sensitive. But we're talking about this, I want to talk about this a little more because someone said to me once, I actually have kids and grandchildren. And they make jokes that Papa Jamie's on TV again, or Papa Jamie's on TikTok again, like whatever. But like James, when you die, they'll have that. I never even thought, Alan, I never even thought about this. The last 15 years in this business, I never even thought about that, how much I have thousands of hours of on camera stuff on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram. But I never thought that they said that. I go, that's true. Where I have pictures, I want to watch Papa Jamie. And they just go on and pick a show and see which Jamie they're getting. I mean, it could be the funny one, and I cry on TV, so I cry. But I mean, it's just kind of fine. But then that extends to what you and I are doing, that we're preserving daytime memories through our interviews. And that's something I never really thought about until recently. And then you brought it up also. And I want to ask you your feelings on that because like Marnie just passed away. So young, so beautiful, fuck cancer. I'm gonna say it. All that stuff.
Fuck cancer. I lost my mother to lung cancer. Fuck cancer.
My mother had breast cancer and survived during the pandemic. We're so happy she survived.
My mother had breast cancer in the 90s, survived. First of all, my mother was a Holocaust survivor.
There's that. Yes.
Breast cancer survived, and then lung cancer took her in the year. Yeah, there's a couple things. Yes. I am the last Locher.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Locher. So I have recently thought about the fact that I will be gone and my name will be somewhere in this World Wide Web. And that's something I've just, jokingly in my own head thought about. Kathy Hayes, Jerry Verdorn, and Marnie. Marnie, today is 38 years old. And if anybody goes to my blog or my Facebook or Instagram, I posted a short piece of the interview Marnie Trent Dawson and I did with her in October of 2020, talking about her diagnosis. But Jill Laurie Hurst really turned to me after Marnie's passing and said, her daughter has these videos to go. Her 2-year-old daughter, who will not know her mother, will get to hear her talk about her on your show. And it really hit me hard. It's not some, you and I didn't intend that to be a result of. Nope. And it is a tragedy that we have lost Michael Tylo, Lisa Brown, Catherine Hayes, Jerry Verdorn, and Marnie Schulenberg in a year, less than a year. I think Michael was the first to go, maybe August. I don't really know the timeline for Michael, but Lisa was November, and then Kathy, and then Jerry. So
we could add, for me, I can add Betty White, and who also on daytime, and then Ed Asner. I interviewed him 5 times over the years, and another person who worked until he died. He worked till he died, basically.
if I knew early on that Betty was a Guiding Light fan, I did not know when I was there. I would have begged us to get her there to be on the show.
Yeah. But she was on Bold and Beautiful, so us Bold and Beautiful fans remember her. She did a great dramatic turn on that show, which I'm not surprised. I mean, a lot of comedians are great dramatic actors also. That's usually what happens.
Were you a hot Cleveland fan?
Yes, of course. I mean, how could you not be with all those ladies? How could you not be? Wendy Malick and Jane Lee. Everybody I like to know. I mean, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Hilarious. What other shows do you watch today, primetime wise?
I'm loving Ghosts.
I heard about that. I heard
so
about
good.
That.
Abbott Elementary, so good.
So we are late to the party, but are about 2 episodes away from the finale.
Oh, it's so that again, these are ensemble shows. It's really funny. They're ensembles and they're really good. Like they just every character brings something to the table.
Shirley Rolfe and the principal are
but don't sleep on the janitor. He makes the most hilarious statement.
Yes, he
Not
does.
sleep on the janitor. He's really good. I mean, he's really good. But I'm hooked on those. I like the new Dynasty. I'm sad it's going off the air. It's got canceled. I actually really enjoyed the last 5 seasons. It's still on playing out.
Has it been on already 5 seasons?
5 seasons.
God, wow.
I know, and I love it. I love it. I didn't like the reboot of Dallas, but I love this.
Oh, I loved.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh, I loved. Was glued.
I watched all 3 seasons, obviously, but my only favorite episode was the JR's death episode. To me, I thought that was brilliantly done with the slow music in the beginning, slowing down at Dallas music, his silhouette. Patrick Duffy, of course, I always say is a underrated powerhouse. And I thought it was inspired, giving him a wife and Annie. Brenda Strong, amazing as Annie. Here's the thing. I thought they had a great cast. Josh Henderson, just a great cast.
Great cast. Jordana Brewster.
Yes, Jordana Brewster from As the World Turns. Yes, I know that. And all these back to Procter & Gamble soaps.
No, but a lot of shows all lead back to daytime.
That's true. That's it, kids. He's right. That's what it is. And right. Grant's show is on Ryan's Hope. And Grant's show, of course, he's placed New Blake. Yeah, you're right. It all kind of goes. I mean, Morgan Freeman, everybody, they're all on daytime shows. You know, Jackie Harry was on another daytime show, Another World, years ago. Now she's on Days Are Alive. Like the soaps are always the nucleus, I think. I always say soaps are Americana. They're like there's something that going to someone's living room every day, or someone's kitchen, or someone's service porch, or someone's bedroom every day. It's different than prime time. Prime time is once a week. It can still affect you. I feel like streaming is close to like daytime infecting, because you can binge watch. Right now I'm watching The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. That's my show right now. It's so good.
We're caught up. Are you caught up?
No, I'm still in the middle of season 1. So I'll get to season 2.
We just finished there's only 1 episode left of season 2.
Okay.
But bravo to Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
What they have done, and must be doing well on those streaming platforms, because they keep bringing more. So
on Salem, folks. Yep.
I truly, I've said it on mine. I might have said it when you and I talked the first time. If All My Children, One Life to Live, As the World Turns, and Guiding Light could have held on 2 to 3 years more, 1, maybe 2 of those, 1 from each network, might have made it on a streaming platform. It was premature to the streaming platforms figuring out the model.
Yeah. I think I always said, because, Prospect Park bought the ABC and tried to bring them on there. I think it was just ahead of their time. They just weren't ready. Well, obviously, we know that when we say ABC soaps, the ratings weren't that bad for those soaps. Ryan Franz. There was some other things that happened. I'll be shady for us. Don't worry, I'll be shady for us. That happened that brought us off the air. And I'll say this because now I'm with you. I can say this. I'll give Ellen Wheeler gets a lot of shit, but she was trying something towards the end to save the show.
So I have feelings on a couple of things. I will just say. How do I? There are too many cooks in the kitchen on every daytime television show. The fact that every daytime show lost somebody who helped build it, Erna, Lee and William Bell, that they lost the connection to those, and so networks came in, and there's been so many. One thing that I think I know fans have such strong feelings about, and we talked about Andy Dixon earlier. I mean, I didn't understand when Andy Scott DeFreitas was first fired from As the World Turns. I called the network. The only time I ever did, because I didn't understand how they could get rid of a family member. Not working in the industry, I know everything's about money. No executive producer comes onto a show to wanna sink it. That is never their intention.
No, never. So never.
Never. And Ellen worked her butt off and wanted to save that show. I mean, she knew the history of that, that it had been on for that, and I don't even know what her mandates were, but you have this number that you have to fit the show into, and God bless anybody, Goutman too, and whoever was EPing One Life and All My Children when they went off. You are tasked with, I couldn't imagine their jobs. Could you?
No, not at all. And even today, I mean, I know King Corday and all. I know them actually. I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on there. Behind the scenes, people don't understand. It's not just some friends who think they know everything. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Trust me, they're not trying to ruin your soap. Why would they want to ruin your soap? They're not trying to ruin it. They may think that they're trying things that may not work, but I will say this, and because I almost interviewed Dana Higley. That was a controversial, and I was actually told I couldn't by some people, by a network. She said yes, and then we were cut off. And so your interview with Jill Farron Phelps, I thought was amazing, actually. And I don't have the vitriol towards her as many people do. People are talking about it already in chat already. She did what she had to do, like Candace just said. She did what she had to do, and I think, and I always think, I think she does love the soap genre. And your interview made me see more insight into her because we hadn't heard her talk really, and so I thought, good job, Alan. I said that because that was one that I was scared for you. I was scared. I was like, oh my goodness, it's a very interesting.
That was one that was one I really wanted to do right by her. I knew what people felt. I mean, I did not agree with killing Maureen Bauer, and neither did she today. She,
right.
I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever could have imagined. Like the Scott DeFreitas in my mind, because they are integral to that. We all watch these because they are our family.
They are. And I'm telling you, I mean, Ellen Parker did knock out the park. She was the bomb. That famous speech, "You've reduced us to ridiculous suburbans." I sort of joke, and I'll never forget it. I love that for the rest of my life. That's one of the best lines in daytime TV. Kudos to the writers who wrote that, and the way she delivered it. And also, there's this one scene where she goes, "You slept with my husband." Her voice gets deep, and I give it to Lillian Rain. No, what that list? I mix up her names there. Pound for pound, she was there. It was just like these two women showed us what daytime can do, and I just think that, and daytime, yeah. Sorry, that interview was a bomb. We were also about how that was a really good interview. Oh yeah, and Wendy Rich, that was another one too.
I didn't know Wendy at all. I loved Wendy.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, but getting Tina and Ellen and Rachel and Maeve together was really
special. Love that
because of that love for those, that's
Trust me, folks. If James E. Roddy was still alive, I would love to interview him. I always thought that Hogan Schaefer was the bomb.
I was just gonna say he would be an off the chart.
Yes.
We'd be bleeped every minute. It would be phenomenal. I loved Hogan. He was a really great.
He was so good. I loved his stuff. I loved his writing at that time.
I would love to, could we talk to Doug Marlin together?
Oh my! He gave us Snyder's. He gave us drama. He gave us family. He gave us family drama. I mean, I talked about him with Martha and with oh my God, my girl, Elizabeth Hubbard. I talked about it with some people. I was like, and the actors rose to the challenge. Like it was on the page, in the work, and it just came again, lightning in a bottle. And it's stuff that he wrote, things he created. Oh, I'm like,
Kelly and Nola, Quinton Nola. To get two of that to be spectacular super couples is,
I know,
not easy.
I know.
I mean, Holden and Lily.
I know. I have to ask this because I haven't. It's my chance to ask him. I liked the clone story on Guiding Light. I thought at first it was ridiculous, but then it grew into something really sad. Maybe because I'm a Days of Our Lives and Passions fan, I can see that I can think outside the box. But I feel like at the core of that story was something really kind of serious. And there's that line that Reva says, "There's only one Reva shame. Where does that leave her?" And I was like, again, when there's great writing, shit, I'm in. I'm all in. You can sell me anything. There's good writing, good acting. You can sell me anything.
And Paul Rausch is somebody who loves the genre. He loved the genre. And I mean, to give that story to her,
I know.
Watch her paint.
I mean, Kim Zimmer again. I mean, that's another.
I'll watch her paint the wall.
Yes, I could too. I mean, easily. I mean, so people make fun of daytime. Screw you. There's some great folks in daytime.
It kind of just made me think. My husband and I, just before this, they just released the new season of. I don't know what it's called. The David Letterman Netflix.
Oh, that series. Okay. Yeah.
He does the interviews.
Yeah.
The Julia Louis-Dreyfus one.
I'll have to watch. I love her. Veep was my show. Veep was my show.
But again, that's like somebody like, Julia. I'd watch her do nothing.
Just sit there and yes, and do her nails. Yeah, she's that. And even her speeches are hilarious. Even everything's hilarious. Yes. Read the phone book. There's no phone books anymore. That's why I stopped saying that. What's a phone book?
They're old school, like you and me. Whoever just wrote that.
He wrote that. Like Thomas Guide. What's a Thomas Guide? What's a map? What's a map?
I had no idea what that was until I came to LA because we don't have that. We didn't have them here.
Oh, really? Oh, because we're driving.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I don't think we did. My first trip in '92 to California, I learned I had no idea what that was.
Well, I guess we're driving.
I mean, I bet people watching, if they don't live in LA, I bet they don't know. I think it was an LA thing.
Oh my God, that's so funny. As we start to wrap this, I can talk to you, Fred. This is so great.
I've loved this. This is
I feel like we deserve this because we did this, folks, and we really do. We both love the genre, and I know you do too. And
there's no genre that works harder. I mean, I have been out of it for 12 years. To think what my friends are doing on GH and all the other shows, I can't imagine the speed at which they are working to bring it to the audience, but to also come in at the budget that they are, left with is phenomenal. They all deserve kudos for,
And I will do a shameless plug. I'm on Studio City season 2, episode 2. Getting me ready.
Oh, awesome!
Apparently, I'm getting shot.
I was on Forever and a Day.
There you go. That's right. That's what I want to lead into this.
Congratulations, boy.
Yes, thank you. I say winner, James Lott Jr. I say winner, Candace Mack, who's in the chat room also.
Season 3. Are you blown away that you're on season 3?
It's what's funny is I again, pandemic came about, and Casey Hutchinson, which we were on your show, we came on early on to promote it. We came in, and when he came to me and said, I want to go back to where it began. And my thought was, oh, old school with new school technology. That was my bit. And I was like, well, and I noticed that audiobooks were starting to kind of rise some more. My mother always listened to audio things like cassette, but like Audible, which is kind of starting to come out and become this big thing, kind of. And there weren't that many, I'll say this out there weren't that many audio dramas out there. There were a few, but mostly there were books, not in the serialized form as we were doing. There were no audio soaps. There were none. I looked out, there were none. And he showed me that first draft. At first, I was like, there's something there. But we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know what we were going to do. We're just going, how do we do this? How do we record it? We're not together. Like, we literally had to figure it all out from scratch by trial and error. And I was just proud to get one episode up. I was just like, just get one up there. And the fact that it's now an award winner, that the Emmys are even looking into adding audio to the categories. They're looking into. I was told looking into it. The ISA's added it on there. I have over 15 audio dramas on my network, and they're all doing super well. I mean, I write most of them, right, or co-write most of them. I direct them. I do sleep. I tell you all the time. I love to sleep. I sleep standing up. I'm like this. But I do like to sleep. I want to stay young as long as I can. But it grew from Forever and a Day to now I have Mistletoe Road and Cupid's Crossing and the email, and I have audio dramas and comedies, and I'm also telling stories. I have one story, the lead is a gay indigenous person. You don't see that anywhere. I have a story between a straight Black man and a gay Latino boy. It's a story of Fairview Heights. Like, I'm doing stories I get to do that you just don't hear or see anywhere. And now there are more audio dramas out there. And we won over like Lisa Kudrow and them, or these people, these famous, we won over them. Like, that's what's so crazy. That when it was, I came on right when they announced the winner. And I'm like, did I just hear forever? Like, so my award's coming, my trophy's come, waiting for it to get here. I'm going to show it off to everybody, of course. But I just feel I feel so just shocked and just kind of and proud at the same time that we created something people wanted to hear, I guess, and decided that the industry is now taking notes. Sometimes it's always slow. We're going for one of my stars at Mr. Rhodes in the chat room, like Kirsten Marie. She plays the mail lady. And
January 25th, 1937, Guiding Light on the radio.
That was our whole point. We wanted to do like the 90-year. That was our all-star thing, was paying homage to. That's where it started. And I started on radio myself. I had my show is like turning 7 years old that I did in radio. So I mean, I love radio. So I was like, ooh, this is kind of like that, and learning how to add the bells and whistles later. So it's been a really growth thing for me too. That I'm in a whole new world. I'm a producer, director, writer of audio dramas. It's just crazy. So any wins we get, I'm just like, thank you so much. I can't believe it. It's for JLJ Media. Thank you. It's a future. It's like, now we're giving you something else. And who knows off of these shows what stars will. I have some of my actors that have gone on to a few other things that are mid-level, but you never know. The next huge soap star or TV star could be from one of our dramas.
Is it Quinn who was on the show with us?
Yes, Quinn Van Antwerp. Of course,
he was on something I watched not long ago.
He was. He's on stuff.
Yeah.
So it's starting to happen for people. So it's another avenue, Alan, for us to be creative, for actors to act. And we started. And so I give Casey credit. Casey and I both started this thing, and now I brought Candace in, and she's a great EP and co-head writer, and now we know Candace Mack. The champion of champions.
And a big soap fan.
Oh my God. Say that again 5 times fast. Oh, girl, Candace Mack knows soap. She's on Bold Live with fucking Casey and them every Friday. Like, she's on the screen with them on their lives on YouTube. I mean, Candace is the biggest cheerleader. I only met her once in person at the Capital City Web Awards.
I know. I hope to meet many of many of you in person one of these
Yeah.
days.
Oh, yes. We definitely got to do that. So, I mean, so I'm just saying she is, Candace knows and loves. She's the kumbaya of the soap world. And I think we need more people like her, because I know a lot of people start these shows, they start these groups, these rooms, these chattings because they love the show. There are other
They do.
folks who are kind of trying to ruin that, but I think the overall feeling was that I started because I want to talk to other people who like the show and who love the show, and that's what we do. Also, it's like we're talking to our friends about one of our favorite shows, our favorite characters. That's all we're trying to do in a world that's just every turn. It's crazy. I mean, every turn. I can't even look this way or this way anymore. It's like every turn there's something new coming up. I want to look forward and talk to my people. And that's how, like this weekend, I'm interviewing James Reynolds. I'm interviewing Jordi Villasuso. I'm interviewing all these folks I'm interviewing coming up right in jail. So that's just, to me, that's the fun part. We talk about the life of our soap operas and your characters. And that's what wakes me up in the day. So I love that. And you do a great job also. You do a great job.
Back at you, my friend.
So this is the Daytime Today Live with Alan Locher. So you said you started to GoFundMe for Marnie's family. You started something?
I didn't start.
They did.
Her family did.
They did. So check that out. So folks, check that out. And if you're a big fan, check that out. Because again, such a sad situation. Cancer has no bounds. It doesn't care about gender or age or race or sexual orientation. And it really doesn't. Like I said, my mother lucked out. She had lumpectomy in both breasts, and the cancer happened to be just those lumps. So we completely lucked out. But she gets checked out every year. You never know. So that's one of those kind of things. You have to just be.
That's what I hope everybody takes away, that they get checked.
Anyway, men too. Testicular cancer, take colon cancer, over 50, get them colonoscopies. It's very, very, very important to know where you stand in your health. I know it's crazy and scary.
And colonoscopies are earlier now for men.
Oh, is that those before 50 now?
Under 50. I had mine at 50. I will have one in January. It is, I think, about 45 now. They want men.
Oh, wow.
To,
yeah. Okay, there you go, kids. There you go. I mean, that's the thing.
That's your Dr. Lott Jr. and Dr. Locher lesson for the day.
Our L last names. That's right. Ellen, you're the best. So go to Locker Room. Check him out on YouTube. What are your handles on the social media so they get them exact?
The Locker Room.
Yes, there you go. The Locker Room.
Thank you.
Make sure you go there. Support him. Support him. He's my friend. Support him. Support him. Support him. And also, all of our shows are on our YouTube channels, but also on audio streaming service platforms. So I know for me, my go from Apple to Spotify and Google, all that stuff. Yours too, correct?
Correct. Thanks to you.
So go there. Yeah. I helped him out on that. Actually, helped him out on that. He came, he called me, and told me to do. So the Locker Room, go on there, look and see all your. You can listen to them while you're on the gym, or while you're walking the dog, or you're in the car in LA driving. What?
While you're commuting. Yeah.
While you're commuting. I say that's the thing. So you can hear your favorite interviews. You don't have to, I know everybody doesn't have time to sit and watch. So we give you another option. So check those out also. They're just as important. We'd appreciate it. Rate our comments, subscribe, hit those follow buttons on both of our channels. Today, I see I have like almost 40 people watching. And so hit those like buttons. You are both so well prepared, very professional, clearly respected by your invited guests. It makes it a pleasure to watch the interviews you do. That's what Donna Lynn says. I really appreciate that. James and Alan are the best in the business. And thank you. That's very cool, you guys. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. I'm James Lott Jr. and I'm where all James Lott Jr. are sold at James Lott Jr. and also social media platforms. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Ask my grandchildren. I'm always talking about stuff on there. Who knows? But check me out there too. And also my Patreon is James Lott Jr. Become a Patreon member. Become a Lottie. That's what we're called now. We're Lotties. So check out and become a Lottie. And I have all kinds of bonus content. I try stuff. Bonus. Christian J. LeBlanc. Bonus. All on that channel. So go check that out. And thank you. Not talking about colonoscopies in there. Yes, the liquor you have to drink is horrible. You get that. Yes, talk about that.
I'm gonna go get